Muslims, of course. Bhutan got Buddhist population. Then you got Maldives, it's 100% Muslims. Nepal also got 81% Hindus. And Pakistan predominantly is a Muslim state, and Sri Lanka is also Buddhist. So predominantly, if you look at South Asia, so Hinduism and Islam, they are the two dominant religions which played a very important role when Pakistan and India were divided. So this was the actually primary factor which divided India and Pakistan after 9/11. So South Asia, if you look at South Asia, it is a very important part of the world where two nuclear weapon states are there, and they're surrounded by China, which is also a very important country in the world right now. Veto power, economic, you can say, emerging economic power, and by 2030, China would become a number one economy. So, which makes China the most important country in the world when it comes to economy. And geopolitically, China is also very, very powerful because China is sitting in the UN as a permanent member, UNSC, and it has got veto power. And many times over, China vetoed India-backed or Russia-backed resolutions on Kashmir. So China is very important country for Pakistan, and at the same time, China is also not having good ties with India when it comes to geopolitics. But when it comes to economy, the Chinese, they have got 85 billion plus bilateral trade with India, which is likely to grow in future as well. But their geopolitics is adversarial, and they are in in clash over many areas. Like, for example, recently on Ladakh, they killed 20 Indian soldiers, but still their trade is intact. So on the other side, if you look at the broader picture of South Asia, it is surrounded by very important oceans, like, for example, Indian Ocean. You got Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. So it is open to the world, which makes this region an attractive market for the world, because through this they can have maritime trade with many countries, and they're open to the world, which makes it one of the most accessible region in the world. At the same time, if you look at the oil-rich countries, Persian Gulf countries, so that also makes this region attractive, because all these countries of South Asia, they import oil from Persian Gulf countries, which is in close proximity. Iran and Saudi Arabia, they are the and other countries they are the leading oil exporters. So because of the close proximity, they can import oil from this region. At the same time, this region is also going to be connected with the outer world when Pakistan is going to complete its Gwadar port. And Gwadar port is going to outpass all these ports in the region, whether it is Dubai port or Muscat port or Saudi ports or other ports. It is not going to have any comparison with the Gwadar port. So if you look at the overall GDP of South Asia, it is $4 trillion, almost close to $4 trillion. And if you look at the GDP purchasing power parity of this region, South Asia, it is close to $15 trillion. If you, just for reference, if you analyze the GDP of Asia, it is $31 trillion. And out of this $31 trillion, $4 trillion is only South Asia. The other GDP is divided in different regions, like, for example, West Asia, Central Asia, but the most important region is East Asia. We are going to cover that lecture, inshallah, on campus. So as a whole, if you look at the population of South Asia, it is basically 1.9 billion, which is actually the market, for major powers. And this, the reason that other major countries, they interact with South Asia. So South Asia is important by the virtue of containing a huge population, which is 27% of the global population, and attractive market. So such a concentration of population will always be important, whatever its circumstances. However, South Asia is also important for a number of other reasons. For example, you can have military to military ties, you can sell your arms to these countries, You can also have sell your commodities, for example, economic ties and social ties. So all these factors are there in which the population plays a very important role. It contains more of the world's poor. For example, this is also a very, you can say, backward region in the world. For example, about 500 million people in any other region, for example, even sub-Saharan Africa, वहाँ पे भी इतने नहीं है. 500 million people are below the poverty line in South Asia. So especially in India and Pakistan, there are millions of people who are at risk. Both countries are struggling from homegrown insurgencies. For example, India is facing insurgencies in its eastern side, Nagaland, Mizoram, UP, Bihar. There are many other places where Indians are facing serious insurgencies. Kashmir insurgency in India is not that serious. It is controllable and they have already controlled it. The militants, or you can say insurgents, they are in very less number. And Pakistan is also not supporting as it should have been, or it have been supporting India or Kashmir, you can say Kashmir struggle in the 90s. Pakistan is not supporting right now. But at the same time, India is facing serious challenges by Maoist or Naxalbari, Naxal insurgents in the eastern side, Chhattisgarh, Seven Sisters. That area is called Seven Sisters because 7 states of that area, they are facing this struggle. They are facing insurgency, serious insurgency. And according to Arundhati Roy, that insurgency is much larger than the insurgency in Kashmir. For example, she visited this area in 2011 and wrote a book on it, which the name of the book was Comrade. In that book, she wrote that the insurgency, or you can say the population or the people who are you can say part of their insurgency, they are more than 90,000 fighters they have got. In Kashmir, they don't have more than 500 people now. So Kashmir is not a threat for them. Their threat is their homegrown insurgencies. And according to Manmohan Singh, who was their previous prime minister, he also said in 2006 that India's #1, you can say, threat is from homegrown insurgencies, especially the Naxalites. At the same time, Pakistan also suffered because of insurgencies, because of terrorism, extremism, especially in FATA, and then